Yeah, it's no surprise if you look at the numbers. Like entrance wise, the last time Mortal Kombat had a thousand was 2019 with MK11, and ever since then it's been 700, 400, 400, and then 645 for last year. Well, this year rather. It's like I don't know, man. The game just when you have a game that releases the way the MK1 did, it's still like here. It's not like dead on arrival. It wasn't dead on arrival. They somehow managed to get past a certain point where like, okay, this game is just about to die completely. It ain't there yet, but it's like, I mean, when you have that low of a number compared to it, like the percentage was, it's like MK EVO 2024 MK1 645 entrants, 12% of the
First
top
year.
game. 12% of Street Fighter Sixes, which was 5,265, right? And that's the second year for Street Fighter Six, right? Compared to last year, which was 7,000. So it's just like on a viewership standpoint, it's like, man, we got less than 1,000 people entering. Like, are really that many people gonna watch? You know, and that's unfortunate because MK is considered one of the big three, but like I said, just with the state of the way that game released. They've already released like the DLC. It was like an extra 50. It's like, man, like I think we need to like worry about other things before like bring out a DLC. Like, let's fix the game as a whole. Yeah, these new characters are cool and stuff like that, but it's like, does the game still have some of the problems that it did and issues? And I played it again, and it's like it still has some of the same. I still have some of the same concerns I did when the game first came out about things they didn't change, and I'm just like, why is it still a problem? Why is it still an issue? I don't know. So yeah, it just doesn't surprise me. Like Rexon mentioned, a game like Dragon Ball is pretty much a dead game at this point. It had its run, and it's super popular in France. And you got some good players in France. You got some good players in the UK in general for Mortal Kombat. But I don't know, man. It's unfortunate. But when you have a game release like that, it's just part of the formula. So no surprise, the MK will not be at EVO France.
Really two things. One, is France. It's EVO France. Now it's kind of automatic that Street Fighter 6 is gonna be there. Tekken 8's gonna be there. If they had the chance to put Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, I mean, I'm not passing up that opportunity to do that. So it's like, okay, there's your three right there. So you're left with Guilty Gear Strive, which is still going strong, consistently finishes top 4 in most of these tournaments. So, okay, it's going to be there. Then, so you're basically left with Dragon Ball Fighters and Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. Now, Dragon Ball Fighters, we sit here, I didn't start my timer, but I'm going to give myself, let's just say I did 30 seconds. Okay, so you got Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. No, I said Dragon Ball Fighters. This is France. We know when it comes to France, Dragon Ball Fighters is basically huge. Now, if we're being honest, Dragon Ball Fighters is basically a dead game right now. Let's just be honest. Like it is what it is. But it's France. I mean, Dragon Ball Fighters is definitely more popular in France than MK. You know, it's not like when you call out like countries that like amazing at MK, you throwing out France. But you would think that for Dragon Ball Fighters, that's why when Damascus announced it, he was so hyped because everybody in France loves that. Most people in France, that's a game that's popular there. Now you go to Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. Well, I mean, that's a game that's been getting a lot of love now. It's been doing well. That's why you consistently seeing it. If it wasn't doing well, you wouldn't be seeing it as much as you're seeing it. People are enjoying it. People are watching that game. Rising is definitely great now. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus originally was people like that game, but it kind of released at a bad time. Now that they're able to come back, and this game is able to release in the time that we're in now, people are really loving it. It's definitely a game that I enjoy watching. We was just talking about the cinematic supers. I feel like the cinematic supers in that game make it just fun to watch automatically. So, and then MK, I mean, we just being honest right now, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising is more popular and is doing better in the FGC right now. So it's like, if they're really trying to make this a big bang for, I mean, at EVO America, look at the numbers for MK1. So what you think it was gonna do in France? So I mean, it was a business move. So yeah, so that's the two things. One, Dragon Ball Fighters is better at France right now. It is more popular in France right now, and Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising is just more popular right now. So give it to you, Mr. MC Amazing.
Well, in my opinion, it's you could have technically replaced MK1 with just about anything. It didn't even need to be like a particularly popular game at this time. I mean, you could have replaced it with I don't know,
Aquapalooza,
Street Fighter 2 Turbo or something like that. I mean, and I wouldn't have been surprised. Sailor Moon R, Clay Fighters. I mean, just about anything would have done better than MK1. And it's very sad because I remember the hype around MK1 when it was going to come out, when it was already out, when like the initial hype around the game when it came out, even though there were some crazy things going on in that game from release, but like people were still like 10 toes down for MK1. And then then we started getting like to where they started patching it, and then they had the DLC releases and stuff like that, and it just had like such a crazy fall from grace. I mean, I feel like that kind of has to be documented, because I feel like that doesn't usually happen to Mortal Kombat, not like, we have like the fall off, eventually people play the game so much, they play it so much for like the initial first couple years, and then you have a Mortal Kombat fall off. But we're talking about almost the exact same year, pretty much, where MK1 just started to fall off heavy. And I'm just like, wow, I like the game came out, I turned around to look at something else. I look back and everybody hated it all of a sudden. I'm like, whoa, what happened? What happened? What did you do? What did you do? It was mind-boggling, man. Like I couldn't believe it, and like now we're like, oh well, MK1's not gonna be EVO France. And I'm like, wow, really? But I'm like, well, at the same time, yeah, I mean, that's to be expected with like the history that's going on. I mean, when did that game even come out? Did it come out like last year?
Yeah, September.
Yeah, it hadn't even been a whole It's barely been a whole 365.
It's a little over a year, and we're talking about it's not going to be an EVO France. That's a problem. What did you do? NetherRealm Studios, what did you do?
They know what they did.
Ed Boon, what did you do?
You know what he did.
That's it for me, man. That's all I got for you. I'm just so disappointed.